Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
A very good morning to you, dear viewer. Thank you for joining us right here on our Health Corner show with me, Maureen Kimani, a program brought to you by Capuchin TV in collaboration with LifeSet News. And for those ones who don't know about LifeSet News, it is a Canadian Catholic conservative anti-abortion advocacy website and news publication. Well, today we bring you a quite interesting conversation, as you can see down on your screen, that is reuniting families, the power of mediation in mending the family bonds. Well, today the conversation is a bit interesting because we all come from a family, by the way, and even if it's not that you've come from a family, you know a person who has a family, or maybe you want to start a family. So we need to learn about how we can be able to resolve maybe the conflicts when they happen to us. And I want to talk about something here that in a world where conflict can strain even the strongest of family ties, we embark on a quest to discover a reconciliation part, or a way we can be able to solve conflict in our family. And well, with this conversation, we help to reconcile the families that have conflicts, and of course by giving them hope and forgiveness. Let's have this conversation, and in case you are yourself and you have gone through this part of mediation and you'd love to share your thoughts and your experiences on this conversation is concerned, you can do that on 0717-424-866, or you can use our SMS number, that is 21760. And welcome to the conversation. As you all know, I don't do this alone. Today we have a very beautiful lady in the studio, a phenomenal one in the society, and she will be introducing herself to us, what she does and who she is, and what is her take as per our conversation is concerned. So welcome you all. Hi dear, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hi Maureen.
I'm very okay.
I would like to thank you so much for inviting me to the show. I thank Capuchin TV as well for having me to discuss on this important topic of mediation and uniting families through mediation. Thank you so much. My name is Lois Waringi. I'm a mediator by profession and an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Mediation is close to my heart, let me say, because it's one of the areas which I've come to find most of the people don't know about mediation. And when you come to realize its benefits, when you come to know what mediation is, for the people who I have talked to, for the communities which I've talked to, they have seen the importance, and they have started to embrace mediation, in that they are not rushing matters to court anymore. They would rather sit down and reconcile amongst themselves. So this brings about healing, this brings about restoration, this preserves relationships, especially within the family unit. So this is the area I'll be discussing about today. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for making time. And of course, I want to talk about something that the Catholic bishops and of course the Catholic Church community have been talking about with the slogan, good family, good church, and good church creates a good society. And that's why we're here today, to have this conversation with our viewers, and of course so that they can be able to learn and help the families to reunite. Well, thank you very much, Lois, for making time and for being here. I can't wait to see what you have to share to our viewers, and of course learning too on this process. But as you talked about mediation, I don't know so many people understand what mediation means. And of course, because of family, I mean the conversation is about family mediation. Kindly talk to us. What does family mediation mean, and how does it differ from other conflict resolution methods?
All right. Mediation in itself is a process where a neutral party helps parties in dispute to come into a mutual agreement. So when I talk about family mediation, now it's the family aspect of it, where conflict is involved within the family. That neutral person comes in and assists that unit to be able to sit down and agree and reach a solution by themselves. This mediator is not there to make for you decisions, but they will come in, they will balance power. We know every family there's maybe somebody who has more, one who is listened to as compared to others. So what does the mediator come to do? They come to balance power. They come to make sure that everyone is heard. All sides are heard. They come to listen. A mediator is empathetic. So by the time this family unit is addressing their issues, some issues in the family are like there's a succession about property when one is deceased, inheritance, people want to inherit. So how do you go about that distribution of wealth? There's a lot of conflict that arises from that. There's also the aspect of custody when the parents separate. So who gets custody of the child? There's also conflict that arises out of there. The other thing is about maintenance of this child. So how will the child be maintained? Who will maintain the child? So a lot of conflict arises from there. So this family mediator comes in to sort, to help them be able to reach an agreement on who does what at the end. In the case of custody, there's a plan. We can set a plan. Who will have the child on this and this date? If it is a maintenance, how much will the child, who will pay the school fees? How much will be deposited into the child's account? You see the aspects of the growth of the child. If it is in succession, what goes to who? So we settle it and we assist parties to reach at a mutually agreeable solution.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And why is this family mediation important in the society today?
That one, it will be analyzing the benefits of mediation as a whole. Because when we look at other adversarial processes like litigation, if you were to go to court in matters of succession, what happens? It's a win-lose. Yeah. The court will order you guys, this is your land, the others will lose. But if you sit together, what happens? You agree on who takes what. We can equally distribute this property. So in that aspect, it preserves relationships. That's one of the benefits. And when it preserves relationships, you see, especially when you have children, when you preserve relationship at that stage, meaning the other people after you will continue with the relationship. But if you destroy that relationship, even the generation after remembers, awa walitupeleka wapi?
Continue.
There will not be relationships, so it preserves relationships. It restores also. If the relationship was already broken, if they already went to court, and then in between akaona, wacha tujaribu. There's that aspect of restoration. If they are able to resolve it out of court, they are able to come out having agreed mutually.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing, it saves cost. Mediation compared to other processes, it saves cost. It's cheaper. We can settle a matter in a day. Yeah. A story is told of a certain lawyer who maybe took a matter for a long time. You know, succession matters usually take a while.
Right, sure.
So the son comes, he has done mediation, and he takes this matter and handles it within a month. And the dad goes to say, unajua hii kesi ndio ilikufanyia nini, ilikusomesha, na wewe unakuja kuimaliza. So you see that it saves costs, it saves time. It can be done in a day. As long as the parties are willing to resolve, mediation on time and costs, it saves. The other thing is on confidentiality. You know, family matters are sensitive matters. You don't want to air your dirty linen in public. So when you come to a mediation room, all that we do should not get out. So there's that aspect of confidentiality. So we even sign an agreement that whatever we discuss here will not be discussed outside. Not only in family, even in business, in corporations, there's some trade secrets that you don't want your competitors to know.
Okay.
So mediation and confidentiality, it is one of the greatest principles. So those are some of the advantages of mediation.
Wow.
Yeah.
And as we talked about that, I remembered something that the AJs, that is alternative justice system in Kenya, are doing, especially when it comes to resolving conflicts, especially land disputes. And they involve the Nyumba Kumi, the chief, and the church leaders, just to help and solve these, conflicts facing the society and even the families. What do you think about that? Actually, they held the second conference some few months ago at Tangaza University College. What do you think of that kind of process in our country?
It is a good process. It is a transformative process. So you move with the time. And this alternative dispute resolution system, alternative justice system, is supported in the Constitution. This Article 159, as long as we have even the traditional dispute resolution systems, as long as it is not against the Bill of Rights, it's not inconsistent with any written laws, and it's not repugnant to justice and morality. So anything that will cause justice to be done and not to be delayed is welcome. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that insight, Eliza. Let's talk about how can this family mediation improve communication in families?
Yeah. Like I said, if there was a problem, and this I've seen, where a party approaches me, they tell me there's a problem, there's this and this family, we are two families, they want to grab this and this and this. So the other parties expect these other ones will go to court. But now when I call them and tell them I am a mediator, they tend to want to listen. You know, somebody who is taking you to court, there's no way you communicate. But somebody who is approaching you to be able to sit down and see how you can resolve, if they are willing to, they usually calm down and see the way forward. So this mediation enables people to, the aspect of it, that you can calm down and see if you can work out. If it does not work out, then you can go to court. You see, the essence is trying to work out. And even if you went to court, you will have resolved some issues. The court will determine the ones you were not able to resolve. So the aspect of mediation in itself, it gives people a room to communicate. Also the aspect of confidentiality also, knowing that whatever you tell me, Maureen, it will not be heard outside.
Okay.
It gives you freedom to express yourself in that room. So you will say what needs to be said. You will, if it works, then it is okay. But it gives people confidence to know that whatever they say in a mediation, it cannot be used against them or even outside. Yeah. So mediation being what it is, even the mediator will empower the people to communicate in the room. It is through that communication that mediator will be able to sift through the issues and know the wants and the needs. So we dwell more on the needs. Yeah?
Okay.
An example is maybe that orange. My teacher, James Mangerere, likes to give an example of an orange. So there's an orange there. Lois wants it, Maureen wants it. We both want it. So what will a mediator do in that situation? The mediator asks, Maureen, what would you like to do with that orange? Maybe you want to plant the seeds. Maybe you want to make juice. Maybe I want peels, you know? Yeah, so we will go into the needs. So once we discover the needs, now we are able to help parties to be able to resolve their disputes.
All right.
Yes.
Wow. Let me, by the way, congratulate you for the good work that you're doing. By the way, being a mediator, I know it's a task, but as long as you have the passion and you're loving whatever you're doing, you can be able to help these families whose bonds have been broken by rebuilding them. Well, kindly walk us through the process of these family mediation from the initiation to resolution parts.
All right. For a private mediation, the parties, I get maybe referrals. of a dispute. These people will approach me, give me a call or write a letter, then I'll take it through, and then I'll make the initial contact with the other parties. It depends on the level of conflict. There are people who are in conflict and they cannot sit together in a room. In that situation, you have to do shuttle diplomacy. Talk between them. Skiza who you call them, go and meet this other one until a point they can be able to sit in a room. Now, when they sit in a room, there's the agreement to mediate, where you set the ground rules for mediation. Yeah. So among the ground rules, the first thing is that mediation is voluntary. So when you come to mediation, you come because you want to resolve your dispute. So if somebody is forced to mediation, trust me, that dispute will not be resolved. So it is voluntary. It is Maureen who wants to come to mediation. It is Maureen who wants to see this dispute resolved. So that is one of the first principles. The other is impartiality. The mediator who is there has to be able to balance. Not really balance, but to be impartial, to be neutral. Don't be seen to be leaning on one side. Don't be seen to be biased. Yeah. The other one is the principle of confidentiality, which is very important. Protect the communication, protect what is said inside. And the last principle we tell in the ground rules is the principle of self-determination. Mediation is a solution for you, by you. Okay. So you don't come expecting the mediator to make decisions for you. No, the mediator is there to see you through the process, to balance power, to make sure that all sides are heard. So at the end of it all, the settlement that you will have, it will be your settlement, not the mediator's settlement. It is different from court, because in court you don't have the power. It is the power is to the judge or to the magistrate. But in mediation, you have the power to settle your own disputes in your own terms. So now, once we set the ground rules, we are able to plan when we can meet and talk and agree, until at a point when the parties feel that they have resolved their disputes, then we do a settlement agreement. Okay. That is for private mediations. There's another one called court-annexed mediation. This is where the court sees that this matter should go through mediation. But the court-annexed mediation is different, because you could have taken your matter to court, and the court sees this matter can be taken to mediation, it can be referred to mediation, so the court refers the matter to mediation. There's the other one, where you individually ask the court that the matter be referred to mediation. And then the third one is a screening officer goes through the applications, goes through the matters, and refers the matters to court. So in this one, the parties whose matters has been referred to mediation appoints a mediator, or the court can appoint one for you. And now the mediator makes communication. If you had an advocate, the mediator makes communication with the advocate, and they set time for laying the ground rules and the mediation procedure. Generally, the court-annexed mediation process takes between 1 to 60 days. It should be complete within 60 days. If it fails to complete within 60 days, you can seek leave from court to be able to be given more days to be able to settle the matter. So even the court annexed, the settlement, the process is just the same, just that the settlement is usually taken back and adopted as an order of the court. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for that, and sorry about my voice. We've been talking about a mediator. Before we take a very short break, kindly, can any person become a mediator, or are there inequalities and qualification for a mediator?
Any person can become a mediator. In Kenya, there's the Mediation Accreditation Committee. Once you have done the mediation course, it's usually 5 days, about 40 hours. So after that, you can take your applications to the Mediation Accreditation Committee, who gives accreditation to mediators. So that is the academic qualification part of it. So, but this other skill, you should be a people's person. You should be able to enter into a room and just break the ice. You know, you should be a people's person, somebody who is warm, somebody who is empathetic, great listener. In mediation, you have to listen more. You don't. In fact, most of the time you don't talk. You just listen and assess. So you have to be a great listener. You have to be a person who loves the job. You see, once you have that drive, once you have that passion to be able to assist people to resolve their matters, that is one of the greatest qualities, I think. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Thank you very much, Lois, for that insight. And I think we're going to take a very short break, but when we come back, you shall tell us more about some of the challenges that people face during these kind of, interaction, mediation sessions. If one has a high emotion, how do you help to calm them down? Maybe you can also walk us through on that. And we're going to take a very short break, but when we come back, we shall continue with the conversation. And in case you have any experiences and thoughts you'd love to share, can we do that on 0717-424-866, or you can use our SMS number, that is 21760. You can also leave a comment on our YouTube and Facebook page, and we'll get back to you once we get that feedback. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back in a very short time.
Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
Synodial Prayer. We stand before you, Holy Spirit, as we gather together in your name. With you alone to guide us, make yourself at home in our hearts. Teach us the way we must go and how we are to pursue it. We are weak and sinful. Do not let us promote disorder. Do not let ignorance lead us down the wrong path, nor partially influence our actions. Let us find in you our unity, so that we may journey together to eternal life and not stray from the way of truth and what is right. We ask this of you, who are at work in every place and time, in the communion of the Father and the Son, forever and ever. Amen.
Una persona sin techo que muere en la calle nunca va a aparecer en la primera página de los buscadores de internet o de los noticieros. ¿Cómo hemos podido llegar a este nivel de indiferencia? ¿Cómo dejamos que la cultura del descarte, en la que millones de hombres y mujeres no valen nada frente a los beneficios económicos, cómo dejamos que esta cultura domine nuestras vidas, nuestras ciudades, nuestro modo de vivir? Se nos va a endurecer el cuello de tanto mirar al otro lado para no ver esta situación. Por favor, dejemos de hacer invisibles a los que están al margen de la sociedad, ya sea por motivos de pobreza, independencia, enfermedades psíquicas o minusvalías. Centremos en la acogida, en acoger a todas las personas que lo necesitan. La cultura de la acogida, de recibir, de dar techo, de dar hogar, de dar amor, de dar calidez humana. Oremos para que las personas que viven al margen de la sociedad, en condiciones de vida infrahumanas, no sean olvidadas por las instituciones y nunca sean descartadas.
Prayer for our earth. All-powerful God, you are present in the universe and in the smallest of your creatures. You embrace with your tenderness all that exists. Pour out upon us the power of your love, that we may protect life and beauty. Fill us with your peace, that we may live as brothers and sisters, harming no one. O God of the poor, help us to rescue the abandoned and forgotten of this earth, so precious in your eyes. Bring healing to our lives, that we may protect the world and not prey on it, that we may sow beauty, not pollution and destruction. Touch the hearts of those who look only for gain, all the expense of the poor and the earth. Teach us to discover the worth of each thing, to be filled with awe and contemplation, to recognize that we are profoundly united with every creature as we journey towards your infinite light. We thank you for being with us each day. Encourage us, we pray, in our struggles for justice, love, and peace. Amen. This prayer was published in Pope Francis' encyclical Laudato Si. It is for all who believe in God, who is all-powerful Creator.
Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
Well, our family is an important part of the society because it is where the foundation of the society is building. Welcome to the conversation for those ones who are joining us right here on our Health Corner show with me, Maureen Kimani. Thank you very much for joining us. And as we continue with this conversation on reuniting families in the studio, I'm being joined with a very beautiful lady that is Loisa Teno, who is an accredited mediator and an advocate. Thank you very much, Loisa, and welcome back to the second part of the conversation.
Thank you.
Yes. So let's continue with this conversation. Let's talk about the challenges that, especially for you, you are an expert in this field, and I'm sure you had some experiences, good ones and bad ones. Kindly tell us, what are some of the challenges that maybe families can encounter while maybe trying to reconcile, and how do you go about that?
Okay, thank you, Maureen. In mediation, you're likely to encounter a lot of resistance. You see, this is a family unit, so you're coming in as a stranger to be able to help them sort there. So there's that resistance at first. But now when they know the motive behind coming, behind the mediator sitting them down, they tend to relax. So that first resistance. The other thing is that power imbalance. In most families, there's the ones who say and the ones who don't say. You see, that aspect of power imbalance also is a challenge in mediation. But a mediator should be able to balance between the two and be able to enable all sides to feel heard. Another challenge I would say is people don't know what mediation is. So when you're coming in as a mediator, you really have to explain yourself. You see, as a lawyer, you don't explain yourself. People know why you're there. But as a mediator, you have to tell them, and you have to educate them first on the procedure, the expectations, how they're supposed to conduct themselves during the process, the do's and don'ts. So there's also that people don't really know about mediation. That's another challenge. The other challenge I will say is that also it is tied to the fact that people don't know. The other thing, people think it's too expensive as compared. Now, because you don't know what mediation is, you would think if I tell you to take the matter to mediation, people think it's very expensive. So I'm here to say it's not expensive. You work within your timelines. So that is what assists the parties to be able to resolve their conflicts. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Aloysia. And let me ask you, for example, you are in a room and you have this family, and whether a couple maybe who wants to have a divorce and you want to maybe help them, or even child custody. And sometimes you find that there are some emotions set high. And maybe do you separate these people or the party, maybe to at least talk about maybe to each of the party, maybe you can help them and tell them, no, this what you're supposed to go about it, these are the do's and the don'ts that you have mentioned. How do you go about that? Because sometimes you may feel, especially for a child custody, a mother is crying, the emotions are high. How do you help maybe a party like that?
That is the where the empathetic side of a mediator comes in, because you have to empathize. You have to hear and empathize with the parties. So if they are crying, please, you just give them a tissue and let them cry. Let them cry. Then after it, they are able to talk. So you deal with each issue as it comes. If the couple are not people who can be able to sit in a room together, you separate and hear them separately until a time they can be able to sit down and agree. On issues of shouting matches, now you have to be able to calm the room. You have to be able to be in control of the room, to be able to make the other side hear the other side. You balance the room. Yeah, on issues of crying, people cry a lot. So it's usually more of a therapy, but you allow them vent their emotions. So then after that, they're able to be able to talk. Yeah.
Okay. And is there any specific time that these mediation sessions are supposed to take, or they can even go for a day, or maybe you can have a continuation? How do you go about that, or it all depends on the case?
I would like to say it all depends on the case. There are mediations I have done in a day. There are some that take weeks. You see, at the end of it all, what parties need to know, it is their effort. In mediation, it is a party-centered. It is the parties that set the time. The parties want to resolve the disputes. So the amount of time it takes, it is equivalent to the effort the parties are putting into settling that claim. So if it takes months, it's because the parties have seen it. They are the ones who set dates, assisted with the mediator, of course, but more the parties. So they can be resolved in a day, can be resolved in an hour, it can be resolved in months. So it depends on the parties' effort in settling the matter.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Liza. And being an accredited mediator, are there any stories that are positive encounters that you have had experience with that you can share to our viewers?
Yeah, there are so many, but I'll pick out a success.
Maybe you can pick the interesting one.
I'd pick out a success one and one that didn't work. So the one is a succession dispute. There were two families, and this matter has been going on at Kajiado Law Courts for a long time. So I met the parties through a forum that we attend together, and they heard what I do, and so they approached me. They told me, one of the families, the sister approached me and they informed me of they have a matter that has been going on in court for 5 years. Some people have died, they have not benefited from it. Then I told them, well, are the other parties open to coming for mediation? Then she said she'll send somebody to ask the other side if they're willing to come to mediation, because I think 2 of them had already passed on. This dispute had started, it was the 5th year and had not been settled yet. So now they came to mediation. We sat down, and most of them were really saying this property inafaa kutusaidia. Wawili wamekufa na haijawasaidia. Unaona? So inafaa kutusaidia. So tuache hii mvurutano, kila mtu aseme kwenye anataka. So that matter, we handled it within a month. And they decided, and then they went to court and said they had settled the matter.
Wow. So
now that is one of the success stories. Another one, the one that didn't succeed really, the parties came, we sat down, it was a custody matter. We sat with the father and the mother, and the father was really agreeing to all terms.
Okay.
So, nitalipa, nitafanya, I will be, you just send everything you need for the child. And we discussed everything, and everything was agreed, and we did an agreement. And sadly, regardless of all those affirmations, this party has never done anything, has not provided, has not supported, it was just on paper. So now that is one of the stories. Those are some of the challenges you get as well in mediation. People pretend to commit, but after that, then they don't follow through.
Okay.
So now that they have tried mediation, I usually say, if he has failed that aspect, if he has failed to honor what he committed to, then now you can proceed to court.
Okay, I was to ask that, are there any action taken in such kind of a scenario? And I think you have answered my question before I even talked it to you. It's like you read my mind. but thank you very much. And just allow me to read some of the people who are following. We have Teresa Kemunto following from Muranga. We have Nenda following, and we have Tobias, who says, wow, this is impressive discussion. Today, many families are broken because of mistrust. How can the ailing families gain confidence in the mediators? I think that one you'll be able to answer on that. And of course, there's another one. Thank you, Lois, for the informative discussion. It is timely we have this discussion that when families ought to be mended. Yes, I think you can be able to answer Tobias on that question. Yes.
On how mediators can
families can gain confidence in the mediators.
Okay. So families can gain confidence in the mediators, seeing the principles I had earlier brought out. Confidence is about knowing that whatever you will say in this room will not be used against you.
Okay.
Confidence is about knowing that this process, it's me who is in charge. It has given me power to decide the matter. So when I said, when you go to court, you have given somebody else power to determine your matter. And in court, it's a win-lose. This one is win-win. So that gives confidence to people. Preserving relationships. You want to be able to go to parties and talk to people. You want to be able to call to meet your family. But if now we take the antagonistic, the adversarial process, these are people you will not be comfortable meeting, because there's that bad blood. You took me to court, ukachukua shamba yetu, mukapatiwa, mukahonga, all that talk. But now if you are given leeway to be able to decide your dispute, you're given power, you're given time to be able to decide what to do. So I think that in itself gives you confidence in the process. And whatever you say, it is not, it is you to determine. The mediator is neutral, the mediator is not given anything. Ati mediator alipatiwa, because at the end of it all, it's not the mediator who decides the case. The mediator in this situation is not a judge. The mediator is a neutral party, and the settlement comes from you. The mediator's role is only to facilitate. So that in itself brings a lot of confidence in the mediation practice. Yes. Hakuna kupewa kitu.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that clarification, and I hope Tobias you've been able to get the feedback from Lois. And let's continue with this conversation. Tell us, are there some of the legal aspect or consideration should these families consider or be aware of when choosing a mediation?
Before you decide on going the mediation way or litigation or maybe arbitration, you should, let me be very specific to mediation. Mediation is voluntary. So that one aspect, you should be able to know that when you're going to mediation, it is you who wants to go to mediation. It is not imposed on you. Yeah, we have this court annexed mediation, which people say it is forced, it is mandatory. But now what the court does within the Constitution gives the court the power to be able to support, to promote mediation. So the court promotes mediation in this way. It will bring you to a room, but it will not force you to agree. You can come to a room and disagree and say, we cannot mediate, let the court handle this matter. Yeah, so there's that aspect. Also, in private mediations now, there's this legal aspect of where once you do that settlement agreement, with your consent, we can take it to court and it is adopted as a court order. It is final and cannot be appealed against that settlement agreement we have agreed on. So those are some of the legal aspects.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what happens to a scenario where a party were willing before to come and share, but when they come, they no longer want to talk, or maybe they don't even show up? Do you reach out to them or maybe ask them whether they still want to have this mediation, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, if you...
Or have you ever experienced such kind of situation?
Yeah, there are people who want to come because they want to gauge what mediation is and see if it will be in their favor. So if it is not what they want, they tend to pull out. So you reach out, and when you see somebody is not committed to the process, you're able to communicate that this mediation has failed. Reason because this party is not willing to come to mediation voluntarily. So that is one of the reasons a mediation can fail. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what are the different types of alternative dispute resolution mechanism do we have in our country?
At the moment, we have mediation. We have mediation is where a neutral person comes to help parties to reach a mutual agreement. We have arbitration. Arbitration, I usually like to term it as the court process, only that it is done out of court by a person called an arbitrator. So everything that goes on in court, witnesses, evidence is presented in arbitration, but it is done outside court. And the final decision called an award is issued. So now an arbitrator is also like a judge, because in arbitration you don't make your own decisions. But in mediation you make your own decisions. So that is mediation, arbitration. We have reconciliation. Reconciliation can be done by anybody, even the pastors, yeah, even the family within themselves can be done, as long as the parties are willing to be reconciled. We have the traditional dispute resolution mechanisms, which is done by our clan heads, which is done by the chiefs, which is done by the local community. Yeah, as long as these traditional dispute mechanisms in our constitution, they are promoted, as long as they are not inconsistent with the Bill of Rights, they are not repugnant to justice and morality, and they're not inconsistent with the Constitution or any written law. So the traditional dispute mechanisms are promoted. We also have negotiations. Negotiation is just normal, where we negotiate over something and we agree on it. We have conciliation, what Kofi Annan came to do. Conciliation, at least it's a bit different from mediation, where now I come in the role of a conciliator and I have my idea and I ask you people to comply if you are willing to comply with my idea. So that is that is different. That is the only difference. Otherwise, they sound similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And if you allow me to take you back, you talked about when maybe a party or even families come to you, sometimes you have to tell them who is a mediator, what mediation process looks like, and what are the do's and the don'ts. Do you feel that this mediation is accessible to socio-economic groups? And are there any barriers to people having this mediation?
Mediation right now is very accessible because even the courts are promoting them. There's a pilot program, it was called the Court Annexed in 2016 by the courts. So this has brought a lot of change in the mediation. Now people are more aware because any court station that you go to, it started in Milimani. Now there's Court Annexed mediation in Mavoko, Kajiado, there's Kiambu. So it is a system that has been embraced by people. It's now more accessible. About 10 years ago, there was nothing to show mediation. But now any court that you go to, you see the Court Annexed mediation registry, meaning that it is accessible. It is accessible to all. Mediators are many, they are accessible to all. I am accessible, so yeah. And we have been doing a lot of legal aid clinics to educate the public more on mediation. We have done one at Langata. Recently we did one at Riara University. I have done one in my locality in Kitengela. So mediation is accessible. Yes.
All right. And you talked about creating awareness, and you've mentioned the parts that you've been able to go to create awareness, like Kitengela and the other parts that you've mentioned. Do you feel there's a lot to be done to even people who maybe they are coming from Narok County, and just to help them understand about family mediation?
Yeah, I think there's so much work to be done still. It is widely an unknown method, which it needs a lot of awareness, a lot of people coming out and supporting the campaigns to raise awareness on mediation. Yeah, so a lot needs to be done. We are, if I were to put it in percentage, we are less than 10% still. So a lot of work needs to be put to be able to educate people on mediation and its benefits. Yes.
Okay. And what advice would you give a family that opts to have a family mediation?
I will say it's the best way to go. Mediation is about building bridges, not barriers. So mediation will help you resolve your conflict within the time that you want. It will help you preserve your relationships. It will save your costs and time. And in case of children-related matters, where maybe the couple has separated, it solves the problem of the conflict. You see, the child sees the conflict. So if you're able to come to mediation and be able to settle that matter, it reduces this conflict on the child. So now you're able to settle on what is needed, and you're able to move forward with it. so that you're at peace. If it is just raising the child separately, it is okay as long as the child is maintained this and this way, as long as this one has custody on this and this day, to reduce that conflict, on the child. Yes.
Talking about a child custody, when doing such kind of mediation to the family, do you have the mother and the father, and of course sometimes do you even invite the child to choose who maybe the parent would love to stay with? Do you involve them? That is, in case they are minors or even they are over the age that is above 18. What happens?
For that, I deal with the parents. For minors, especially minors of tender age, even the law supports that the mother should have them, so I don't need to have the child there. You see, it's the interests of the child that I care about, how this child will be taken care of. So these people who protect those interests are the ones I'm interested in. So I will not need the child in the room. No.
All right. Well, thank you for answering my question. And sometimes when you get back to the society, you may hear stories about mediation. What are some of the myths and misconceptions about mediation, of which you mentioned about some people saying that it is expensive, of which you say it's not expensive? What are some of the other myths that are out there that you need to clarify to the viewers?
One other thing is that people think mediation is always about compromise, that you have to compromise yourself. Sometimes it may be seen as that, but now at the end of it all, I said mediation is about finding mutually beneficial solutions. So that solution should be able to be of benefit to you as well as of the other party. You see, there's no compromise there. There's no one who has been left less. There's no 90-10. No, it's about, it's not, maybe it may not be 50-50, but you will reach at a situation where you feel that you've been heard, where you feel that you have reached a place where that matter, even if you went, that matter has been, you have given your best shot at it. You have gotten a solution out of it. So the compromise, another thing that people think is that mediation is not legally binding. It is legally binding. The settlement is legally binding. So like I said, right now we have the legal notice in place that gives power to those settlement agreements to be taken to court and adopted as a court order. So it is legally binding. Yes.
All right. And there's another question here for you before we wind up. How can the families in the rural areas get support from the many mediators out here without relying to the lengthy court processes which some may not manage to get in their town or counties?
The rural areas, I think maybe I can say we need to do more in terms of raising awareness, in terms of putting ourselves out there to be known as mediators. But right now, in communities where you have maybe Wi-Fi, you can just look for a mediator around your area. If not, you can always reach out to me. And then we are also introducing the online dispute resolution mechanisms, so you can be in Narok and we are able to attend the matter when I'm in Nairobi. So I don't need to be there. You just need to have my contact, tell me the matter, and we can set dates online. You can come with the parties. We are able to do that now. With the technological advancements, we are able to do online dispute resolution mechanism, which is a step in the right direction. So you don't need people around your rural area. We can also do from even abroad. We can listen to matters from abroad. So that in itself, it's an advancement in technology, and we have to embrace it as well. So The online dispute resolution mechanisms is here, so we embrace it regardless of which area you're in. You just have to look for a zone, a Wi-Fi zone, and we can do the meetings we can arrange. And then you can get your issues aired out, and we look whether we can be able to assist you settle that matter.
All right.
Yeah.
And a quick one before we go to the parting shot. I'm sure you have something you can tell our viewers, and you've been mentioning that they can talk to you, and I'm sure you'll be able to give out the number and maybe how they can reach out to you. Tell us, how do you see family mediation evolving in the years to come?
With the continued campaigns, with the continued public awareness of mediation, I see more people embracing mediation, because since 2021, that is when I started mediation. And the reason why I chose to promote it is because I felt the need. Because at the moment I felt like I have done this, I know it will be of help to people. But people don't seem to know it. So what can I do to make people know it? So I started raising a public awareness around mediation. So within that time frame until now, I feel like there has been a positive response to it. It's just that people didn't know, but when they are aware of it, they will embrace it. So in 5-10 years, I think matters will be being resolved through mediation.
Okay.
Yes.
And are there any emerging trends that in the family mediation could impact its effectiveness?
Yeah, the one I was thinking of is that online dispute resolution mechanism. Because now if you're in Narok, if you're in Embu, if you're where, Garissa, I can be able to access you. And we can be able to sit down and sort the matter and sign the agreement even, and be able to move forward. You don't need to come to Nairobi. We don't need to book flights to go to where we can resolve it online. So that in itself is an advancement in the right direction for mediation.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Loisa, for making time and for sharing this insight and beautiful, informative session. I've really enjoyed it, and hoping the same to our viewers. As you can see, they have been able to interact with you by sharing questions, and of course, they are saying they're following the conversation. So thank you very much. And I'm sure you have something that you'd love to emphasize on this family mediation is concerned. Kindly do your parting shot in 2 minutes or even 3.
Okay.
Take your time.
So I would like to thank Capuchin TV and Maureen and Tobias for giving me an invite to be able to share about mediation. So mediation in itself, it is a topic that is very close to my heart, and I hope, as I've discussed above in our conversation, people will embrace mediation. Mediation is a solution for you by you, and it is about building bridges. It does not matter whether it is in the family, in your businesses, in your communities, wherever it is. Mediation is about building those bridges. So let us build the bridges, let us use mediation, and what else will I say? Let us embrace mediation. It is a good thing, and we are headed in the right direction, especially with judiciary is promoting it. KRA, so they have an alternative dispute system mechanism. They have a mediation department. So this, you see, it's getting embraced by everyone. So you jump in the bandwagon. Next time you have a dispute, don't run to court. See if you can resolve it out of court.
Okay.
Yeah. See if it is a matter that cannot be resolved out of court, by all means go to court in case of criminal matters. But these other matters, 90% of the disputes can be resolved through mediation. Try mediation first, see if it works for you.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that takeaway. And how can people, our viewer, and of course the people following the conversation, can reach out to you, maybe to get in touch, to ask more questions, and even to ask for guidance, or even helping a friend? How can they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me. My number is 0703 888 165. You can also reach me via email, lwaringiadvocates@gmail.com or waringilois@gmail.com. If you use all those addresses, I will see your message. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Loisa, for that beautiful insight on the conversation of family mediation. We appreciate your work, and may God bless you as you continue to help families to recreate and reunite that bond by reconciling. And you know, it's all about love and understanding one another. And I wish you the very best in your line of work, and may God bless you. And thank you very much for making time. Well, to all our viewers who have been following the conversation, that is this one I didn't mention. We have Herman Ohato from Mombasa. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you very much for following this conversation, and to the Capuchin TV crew that has been behind the scene. We have Felix Juma, Peter Mwangi, we have Pauline Donga, we have Winfred, Eric Otieno. May God bless you. And I cannot forget to our special fan. We have Tobias, as you mentioned, and of course, Jeremy Moriah. And my takeaway that I would love to say is that for it is through the connection that we find our greatest strength. Let us all take time and build our families, as the Catholic Church says that good family brings good church, and it creates a good society. So let us all unite and help one another. My name is Maureen Kimani. See you next time, and have a blessed day.
Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
I am Bishop Joseph Mongela, Catholic Diocese of Kitui, and the chairman of the Pastoral and Lay Apostolate in the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops. I invite you and welcome you warmly to a National Prayer Day to be held at Subukia National Shrine. The theme for this year is Journeying Together as a Reconciled Family. We shall be led by the Metropolitan of Nairobi to come and pray together for our country, for our church, for each one here in our country, to live in peace with one another, to live as brothers and sisters, and to be reconciled, to heal the world so that we move together. We pray for peace, we pray for growth, and accepting each other as we work together as one family. We are all welcome to come and pray together, asking God to hear our prayers and heal our country and make us live as brothers and sisters. God bless
Dear friends, my brothers and sisters, and all people of goodwill, peace be with you all. My name is Father Arnold Ishirima, the Superior of the Capuchins in Kenya. On 5th October 2023, the Capuchins will have our annual Family Day and a fundraising to be held at St. Jude's Chapel, Rafter Road, Westlands, Nairobi. The Holy Mass will begin at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, followed by opening of the Year of the Golden Jubilee and the fundraising. The fundraising is aimed at raising funds to continue building the residential home for the Capuchins in our headquarters at Rafter Road, Westlands, Nairobi. The project cost is Kenya shillings 18 million. Once again, we kindly request for your generous support. You are also welcome to join us in this function. You can send your generous financial support to Paybill number 7062124. Account's name, put your name. May God bless you all and your family members. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
These celebrations will be live on Capuchin TV and its social media platforms. Capuchin TV, your staunchly Catholic identity channel.
I am Sister Elizabeth Onota. I belong to the Congregation of the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of the Holy Rosary, and I'm currently serving as the program coordinator of the Leaders Guild, which is a leadership development initiative under the Center for Leadership and Management, Tangaza University College. TLG came into existence in the year 2013 on 8th December. Since then, TLG has, in different occasions and with different population, engaged in leadership development activities ranging from workshops, training, conferences, all on leadership development to help people maximize their personal and professional potential.
It's a delight to invite you to our Youth Conference 2023 with the theme Ethical Society, Value-Driven Citizens. The date will be on 16th September and the venue will be Tangaza University College.
So in our conference this year, we are looking at ethical society, value-driven citizens. How can the citizens themselves curb those vices? Because if we begin from the society, we would eventually address the problem on top as opposed to vice versa. So we want a healthy society. A healthy society can produce healthy leaders.
And as we look towards having an ethical society, remember you are the youth, you are the future. So register and be part of this conference as we look forward to an ethical society. Karibuni sana, even as you plan to attend.
Ita
Wapendwa muumini, tumsifu Yesu Kristu. Waumini wa kahawa mpo? Kahawa West na Kahawa East, Kahawa Farmers na Kahawa Lovers, Kahawa Barracks na Kahawa Flats, Kahawa Windani na Kahawa Urafiki, Kahawa Sukari, Kahawa Chungu ama Kahawa Ndufia. Mungu ni mwema kila wakati. Jumapili ya 24 ya mwaka, tarehe 17 Septemba, Capuchin TV. Tutatembea kwenye mtaa wa kahawa, mbali na mikahawa na viwanda vya mashinani. Kwa mwaliko wa Baba Paroko Padri Alfonso Popi, tutainjilisha na waumini wa parokia Mtakatifu Yosefu eneo la Kahawa Sukari. Itakuwa ni sherehe ya maadhimisho ya jubilei ya fedha ama miaka 25 ya parokia hiyo.
My name's Rachel Kirago. I am a parishioner here at St. Joseph Kahawa Sukari Parish. I'm the moderator for Young Catholic Adults, and I'm just very happy to be celebrating 25 years of this amazing parish.
As we prepare to celebrate it on the 17th of this month, September, we are looking forward to even having people come celebrate with us because it's a milestone.
Ibada ya misa itafanyika kwenye kanisa la parokia hiyo kuanzia saa 4 asubuhi. Kiongozi wa ibada atakuwa Mhashamu Philip Anyolo, askofu mkuu wa jimbo kuu la Nairobi. Ibada hii itakufikia hapa na kupitia kwa mitandao yetu ya kijamii. Wakulima wa kahawa, wavunaji wa kahawa, wauzaji wa kahawa na wanywaji wa kahawa, nyote tunawapenda. Capuchin TV inawatakia heri na baraka wanaparokia wa St. Joseph Kahawa Sukari katika maadhimisho hayo. Endelea kutazama Capuchin TV, kitambulisho chako Katoliki.
Welcome to Trust, Compassionate House of Holistic Healing, Immaculate Heart of Mary, Cycle Spiritual Counseling Center. We are located along Tandala Road, via Bogani Road, near JKUAT Campus, Karen. We offer family and marriage counseling, group counseling, individual counseling, youth counseling, addiction counseling. We have psychosocial training. We also offer retreats. We have a hall that can be used for seminars and workshops. And we also have accommodation. We welcome all from far and near because the accommodation will offer. You will have a bed to rest and food to nourish yourself. Welcome all because our prices are so affordable. You can reach us on, as I said, Tandala Road, via Bogani Road, near JKUAT Karen Campus. You can call us. Our email is counselingc442@gmail.com. Tunawakaribisha nyote. Hii ni nyumba ambayo mtaweza